No failure, just data. No failure, just data. We could look at piles on our floor and be like, I'm such a loser. Or we could say, no failure, just data. It's just telling me that I don't have time, I don't have energy, I don't have space, I don't have a need for this stuff that has piled up. It's giving us really valuable information. And when we can look at our stuff this clearly, we can make really fast decisions. So when I'm talking about guerrilla decluttering, I mean quick, scrappy, unconventional, because most of us do not have the luxury of time, of lots and lots of time to sit and make decisions about this stuff. We need to make quick decisions, but we don't want to be wasteful. They need to be informed. We need to feel confident in our decision making. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to my parents' basement. That is Gage playing Minecraft right there. Gage, you want to say hi? So if you come down the stairs out of the kitchen, this is where you enter, and it's become like our co-working space, which has been awesome. And any mess that you see is my fault, not anyone else's. But when I condensed my life down to here, this kind of became my storage space. And again, I could look at it and be like, oh my goodness, I'm such a loser. Like, come on, why can't I stay on top of it? Or like we're going to talk about today, I can say, hey, decluttering has not been my number one priority, right, over the last year. But while it's been sitting here, it's actually been giving me really good data. So I'm excited. Like we're going to go through a bunch of this stuff together. I'm going to show you some stuff that I feel guilty about, like the money that has been spent on it. How do we work through those feelings? I know that kind of stuff hangs us up. Now, this is a space we've been working on inside of our membership community where we just work alongside each other every single day. So every day I'm in there, I'm showing spaces I'm working on, tips, mindset shifts. And one of the things we reinforce a lot is, where do you start, especially if a space feels a little overwhelming? And we always say floor first and then categorize and contain. And so the reason we want to start on the floor, and I've talked about this before, but stuff on the floor is very unsettling to our brain. So today I'm going to show you a combination of clips from my daily videos inside the group, a live that we did recently. And so you'll get a feel of how it is that we work together in there. And also I'm hoping by the end of this video that this space is going to look awesome. So whenever we are dealing with an intimidating space, floor first, floor first. And like I said at the beginning, I could look at this as a failure, or I could say this is like the only, like I have no storage spaces here, right? So anytime I have any extra inventory, this is where it goes. And a lot of this actually got moved down from the upstairs from my bedroom and the landing when we put in the new carpet. And so it's just, it doesn't have a place, and that's what I need to find for it now. But like I said, it's also giving me good data because it has been sitting here and I have a better idea of what's getting used and what's not. I like to just even start from one side and work our way across. So let's do that together. So floor first, but I'm also going to skip over anything super hard. I don't have to solve this whole thing right now to make it feel a whole lot better. So I'm looking for the stuff I can deal with, I can get some wins and make this space feel a whole lot better today. So this is a box of mail. If you have sent me anything from Christmas until now, it is in here. I'm excited to go through it. We just haven't got there yet. And so thank you. I appreciate it. And we will get to that. This is the box from the laptop that Maggie's using for school. It just got set here, but we actually do have a spot for tech boxes and that kind of stuff. So I usually like to keep this kind of stuff for like 6 months-ish till we know we're not going to return it. Everything's working fine. And then we get rid of the boxes. I know some people keep them for resale or whatnot. That has never been my thing. I don't care to start that now. So I'm going to throw this up there and then we will keep going. And actually what I normally like to do is take a Sharpie or something and write on the box what it's for before I shove it up on the top shelf or whatever. So normally that's actually what I would do. I also decided to move all my books down here that I keep for like decluttering or different things. And so I had some upstairs and some down. So I'm only keeping like fiction books upstairs now, and anything that's nonfiction, then I want to be down here on the bookshelves. And so I am going to put these books over on the shelf over here. I'm not worried about like organizing them or arranging them on there right now. When we get to the shelf, then I will deal with that. One of our Capture and Complete planners, which those live in here. So I'm gonna put that in there. This is a I wanted just a small fireproof safe to have here. Again, fireproof is relative to like the temperatures. I haven't decided where I want it to live yet. And so I just haven't unboxed it, dealt with it, and done that kind of thing. And so I can, and that is something that I can definitely deal with. This is just like packing tape. When we send out planners and whatnot, we have used this. I have all of our mailing stuff over there. So again, no hard decisions. I'm just putting this stuff basically where it goes. This box has mail in it too. I am looking forward to getting through all of that. This was on a donation pile. It needs to go back on the donation pile. So I'm gonna put that back there. And then these are some extra, like the organizers, drawer divider organizers. Oh yeah, this stuff is, actually this is all donation pile stuff. Good, this is just donations that got mixed in here. And then over here, I also have a bunch of organizing containers. I have to talk fast and finish this up. So again, when I'm just looking for some like quick wins, make this feel better, I have organizing containers that just need to go back where they go. And so I keep them in the closet that's in my brother's room. But there's some more right here. And then also these ones are my mom's too. So we will put all of this stuff in there, and that is gonna feel good. And actually that is a stack of organizing containers there too. I mean, we made this look a little better. Like, is it perfect? No, but already I'm like kind of getting on a roll, and I'm like, okay, I don't really want to stop. Like, I actually just want to plow through this, right, and get it done. So never underestimate the power of just 5 minutes and refamiliarizing yourself with the stuff that piles up in our offices. Look at the data and go in with the mindset that most of this stuff has to go, right? If it's piling and sitting, like we're not using it, it doesn't have a home, it's more work to try and find a home for it than to just get rid of it, right? Now, another place where we can use this mantra, no failure, just data, is when it comes to our healthy eating and health goals. Many of us want to eat healthier. We know we'll feel better, but this happens to me too. It gets backburnered when life gets busy. And today's video is sponsored by Factor. I've been personally purchasing my own Factor meals for almost a year now, and my dad and brother have joined in too. We've all found that it's made it so we can still eat healthy, feel full, satisfied, energetic, feel good about ourselves, even when life gets busy. Factor meals are conveniently delivered right to your door, fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved, chef created. There's no meal prep, no grocery shopping, there's no mess in your kitchen. Each meal is ready to go in just 2 minutes. And each week there are over 35 options to choose from, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. So this is the Stroganoff style beef burger with Parmesan green beans and roasted mushrooms. Portion sizes are great, it's filling and satisfying, and it tastes really good. And Factor is flexible. I can easily adjust my order size, enjoy with loved ones like my dad and brother, or even skip a week when I have a special event. And this is so cool. Right now, you can get free breakfast for a year. Just head to factor75.com or click on the link down below and use code MinimalMomFB50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code MinimalMomFB50 at factor75.com for 50% off and free breakfast for 1 year. All right, now we have your healthy eating covered. Let's get back to decluttering. And so again, I just want to re-emphasize that for most of us, we don't have time on our side. We don't have the luxury of endless hours to sit and declutter and really labor over each item, and then also to make sure that it gets donated to just the right place. And so part of our guerrilla decluttering tactics is to grab a black trash bag and just start putting stuff in. And I do think it's important that it's a black trash bag. If you haven't tried decluttering with a black trash bag before, it's like a black hole. I don't know, again, I'm the psychology behind it, but there's something about not even being able to see it even a little bit. Like, it goes in and the guilt is gone, the shame, we don't have to feel bad about it anymore. So definitely one of our guerrilla tactics is to make sure you have black trash bags when you're decluttering. And again, permission, because we don't have time on our side right now to make quick decisions, to throw stuff in, and to not worry so much about it. I feel like our priorities have gotten a little unbalanced, and where we're putting too much energy and effort into these physical things, and should I keep it or not, and what am I going to do with it? compared to our real life relationships, the people around us who need us and need us to be present and there for them. You know, I mean, that's definitely what I've learned over this last year or two, is that I really want to be putting my energy into those things. You know, at the end of our life, people aren't going to say like, wow, she rehomed all those mugs and quilting supplies to just the best place ever. No, they're going to talk about how you made them feel. And for me, I feel like I'm making those around me feel loved and valued and cared for when I'm present and I'm not so stressed out and I can just sit with them and give them the time that they need. And this stuff, this physical stuff, is keeping us from being able to do that. But I know this is easier to feel guilty about because we can put a price on it, right? So let me show you a few things that I like have hung me up to, right? All right, let's talk homeschool curriculum, right? Any fellow homeschoolers here, right? I had mentioned in my video last week, we're doing a mixture this year of public school and homeschooling. And so I bought this beautiful language curriculum and I thought it was gonna be so awesome and it comes so highly recommended, blah, 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 and not cheap. I'm sure at least over $100, right? I don't know. And it has just been sitting here. We didn't use it last year. Now I know for sure we're not using it this year. And then I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer it to my sister, right? Because if I can give it to someone else who can make use of it, then I don't feel so bad about it. And I texted her and she said, I literally just bought that same set. And so she's like, I could try to keep it for one of our younger kids, but I just can't trust myself to remember that I have it, right? So this I am going to put for free on Facebook, and hopefully like a friend or neighbor or someone can make use of it. Does it feel good? No. And if I was really short on energy right now, I would just throw it in a donation box and move on with life. But I feel like I can, I think I can at least go through the effort because of the investment I made into it, to put it on Facebook and see if anyone else can make use of it. But it doesn't feel good, right? Another thing that is like surprisingly hung me up is this laptop backpack. It's just from Target, but I really loved it. It's very well designed and thought out and just functioned really well. But my new laptop didn't fit in it. I couldn't zip it around. So I ended up getting a different one. And then I still have the old one, right? We do that all the time. We get the new thing and then we keep the old one for whatnot, or someone else could make use of it. It has been almost a year now since I have used this one. And so I know it's time to let it go, but for whatever reason, it was just like, oh, bleh. But here's the good test for it to know, like, am I going to miss it or not? I had actually forgot that it was down here. So I could have donated it multiple months ago and gotten rid of it, and I wouldn't have missed it. It's not till I see it again and then I have that twinge of like, oh yeah, I have to make that decision, right? So I know, I understand, like, seasons change and sometimes the things from the past, like, have fond memories or whatever, and we just worry that we're going to make a mistake getting rid of it. But again, we don't have the bandwidth to manage all of this type of old inventory from past seasons. We have people that need us, right? And so I'm going to let it go. And again, I'll probably never, ever think of it again. Okay, good news. I got the stuff put away here that I was like, these are donations. This is just organizing containers, and made some space on the floor here. Oh, it feels so good. We're going to talk about organization today. Today I want to talk about organization. Tomorrow we'll talk about command centers. But again, yesterday we reiterated, if you have stuff on the floor, whether you have a traditional office, like dedicated office, or another space that you use, we always want to start with the floor first, right? So floor first, and then categorize and contain. And so on this shelf, I've been categorizing a little bit, right? I talked about, like, I have the category of books, and we're going to work through those a little bit today. I also have a category of like random tech stuff, cords and all that kind of stuff. And this is my container for that. I put these containers in place. We did this together, I don't know when, but we can talk about some of that too. So once we kind of like triage the situation, get decluttering, get stuff moved out that just doesn't belong in here, and then we're really working on categorizing, we can better see what it is that we're dealing with. So like I said, I want to keep all of my nonfiction books down here. I also just realized there's some up there too. I thought I had like hardly any. I thought I got rid of like all the books that I'm not using. Anyways, but this is why we have to bring it all together, right? So I had put some books on here yesterday. I also have this set that I had brought down from upstairs. This like book holder was my grandma's. And so we had it upstairs on the landing. And again, then I'm like, I don't want that on the landing anymore. I want to keep all my nonfiction books together. So what I want to do is I do want to have a container for it. Those were there because I put those like on the shelf behind me as like decor when I'm videoing or whatever. So I'm probably going to leave that set like that because I curated them by color or whatever to look nice behind me. But all the rest of the books, I just want to put on one shelf so I can very clearly see what I have. I want to use one shelf as my container or limit for it. And then if I need to pare down, I will. So I think I want to use this shelf. So I have a few books here. So these are going to go on it. This, my Easy Awesome Bundt Cakes, I'm going to put in with my other books in that cabinet. These were just some sheet protectors that didn't get put back on our office supply shelf over there where that needs to go. These are just some extra containers I got that I haven't used yet. And again, when we are talking about organization, I do think it is so helpful to know your Clutterbug style. So if you have not taken the quiz yet, you just go to clutterbug.ca. You can take the quiz and understand your style. So again, I'm a ladybug, which means out of sight. So I like containers like this and broad categories. I am not going to micro organize these cords. No way. And so knowing your organizing style makes a huge difference then when it comes to doing something like this and putting organization into our office spaces. So I have these books. These were the ones I put here yesterday. And then these books. Will they all fit? That is the $1 million question. All right. Ooh, yes. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Now, I will probably go through and make them look nice and stack them up by size. But the biggest thing is to remember that organization doesn't do it for us, right? We have to declutter first, and then we categorize and contain things, and then we have to maintain it. And a lot of times we get frustrated because we think our organization is breaking down, but it's actually just the maintenance piece that we're missing, or we have to go back to declutter a little bit more to make it work. Most of us have been trying to like way overload our organizing containers and systems with way too much inventory, and that's why it's breaking down. It's not actually a problem with the organization itself. And also when we're talking about office spaces and organization, I really want to encourage you to get stuff up off of your flat surfaces, whether it's a shelf, ledge, top of a bookcase, or whatnot, if at all possible. If you can get the stuff up off of it and contain it, again, it feels so much better to our brain. So we have this shelf here with just some fun, decorative memorabilia. The things on here are special and meaningful. Now, we could line them up on here. I mean, this is like a natural place where we would put this kind of stuff, right? But do you see how visually it actually feels so much better to our brain to have it up off of the flat surface, easy to wipe down, take care of. But also the shelf creates a container. It's contained. It can't spill outside of it. My brain doesn't have to individually categorize all the things on this shelf because there's no container. Rather, it gets a break because it's like, oh, it's contained. Everything on there is special. That's fun. That's enjoyable. Like that, many of us want to have some kind of knickknacks, memorabilia, whatever kind of stuff. Great. But if you've ever wondered, like, but why does it feel messy or like too much? Probably just because there's no kind of container around it. So whenever possible, keep your flat surfaces clear, get the stuff up off of it, and it feels so good to our brains. Now, this also wouldn't even be my preference to have this on this flat surface, but if you want to see my my magic trick that I do down here, I'll show you that really quickly. Corbin, what are you up to right now?
Playing Farming Simulator.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna pull down my screen behind you and show my magic trick, but you can keep playing, okay?
Okay.
All right, and just like that, in 1 minute, I have a new backdrop behind me, and I'll show you what it looks like in action. Although, Corbin, I think you look a lot better sitting there than I do when I'm on. Well, we're going to do some work here together today. Again, I just want to keep reiterating, no failure, just data. So why don't we start with a little decluttering, and then we'll talk more about organization. I do have some stuff, more stuff on the floor over here that I want to work through. So, and actually it it always looks kind of like bad on camera and stuff. It's just stuff that needs to get like straightened up again, like toys that came down from upstairs after Diana's kids were here that didn't get fully put back away. There's a few I think we can now, again, more data has been collected and we can let go of. Again, I know how all of this goes, right? So one thing here that I had, so we put together a lot of desks and furniture down here. And then what do you end up with? So you end up with the manual and then extra parts. And so what I had decided was that we would just take all of them and then the extra part and just put them all in one container. I was fairly confident that we weren't going to need it and that there would be no reason to like revisit it again. But initially, I was like, I just don't know. Now, like, it's so hard to believe. It's been over a year since we put all of this together. I have not gone into this container for anything. There was no like, oh, I need a random bolt or anything, right? And so now, and I didn't, revisit any of the manuals. So now I actually feel very confident just letting all of this stuff go. But it did work well to have one spot for it, one central spot where all of it would go. I had a home for that kind of random stuff. And then now I feel confident. Where's my black trash bag? Shoot, I got my black trash bag. Now I feel confident just dumping it all into the garbage. Now, on the other hand, if I were like, no, I think, I have used a thing or two, I have referenced it. Again, also good data to work with. And then I could say, well, either I'll have it live in this container or a different one. I'll put a label on it so I know where it is and what it is. And then I will find a home for this, right? Because it has shown me that I do need to reference it from time to time. So always, whenever we can consolidate, right? Have one clear category and one container for it. Such a kindness to our brain. We know where it goes and where it lives, and then we can collect data. I want to show you something else too that I had done. So I had shown this container that I had just been putting random like cords and stuff into. And so something though that was so helpful that I did that I just really appreciate was I had this cord and we did this on a live together a while ago, but I put a piece of painter's tape on it with a question mark because at the time I did not know what the cord was for. And so I put question marks on it and then I put the date on it. It's from 2023. I'm trying to see if I can tell the month because I'm positive that we did it together. Okay, 7/31/23. So I have been hanging on to this mystery cord for over 2 years now. But again, now I feel confident letting this go because I just took a sec to put a piece of tape on it. I had it wound up nicely too, and to put that on there. And if you recall, I have had the experience where I got rid of a camera charging cord, and then I ended up figuring out what it was for and that I needed it and had to rebuy it. One of the very few things I've ever had to rebuy. And so, again, if we're looking at having data so that we can make sound decisions, this is so helpful. Whether you're putting it on an individual item or on a whole container of stuff, like even this, it would have been even extra helpful if I would have put on here like the date when we started putting all this together. Because if you would have just asked me, I'd been like, oh, that was a few months ago, right? And then now I'm like, no, it was like a year and a few months ago, right? Like our brain doesn't always compute time correctly. Like we know that, right? And so even that would have made it like an even clearer, easier decision if I had even taken the time to put a date on here as well. And so what I like about this again is because now I feel very confident. I'm going to add it to this is going to get trashed and this. But let's say, so I'm like, okay, 2 years, good data collection. I feel confident letting this go. Now, let's say a couple months from now, I'm like, oh my goodness, I finally remembered what that cord was for and I just threw it away. Well, I'm not going to beat myself up over for it now because I kept it for 2 years. That was plenty of time to do it justice, right? And so even now, when I throw it away, if I would come back and be like, oh, I remember what it's for, I'd be like, okay, it's fine. Like you tried, right? If you have to rebuy it, like it just is what it is at this point. We can't keep everything just, wondering if someday we're going to remember what it's for. So no failure, just data, and any ways that we can add, a little bit to the data to make it just really cut and dry and really clear is really helpful. And also do know that after you do this kind of stuff for a little bit, you build up your decluttering muscles, you're confident, you don't have to keep doing it. You'll get to a point where you just trust. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Does Nana's monitor not have a camera on it? Oh, it's under my computer. There you go. See, look, Gage was just looking for a, a webcam, and I knew exactly where it was. It was in my bin of random cords and stuff. That makes my heart so happy. That's awesome. That was like not staged or planned at all. Like I was like, I just, arranged that all with Gage to, yep. That's awesome. All right, good. We're throwing stuff away. We're moving on with life. All right. It looks bad. It's actually not that bad. Oh, this was a Amazon return that got buried and forgotten about. So it's just an organizing container. So I'll probably just put it with my other organizing containers for now. Again, actually, I should put a date on it. I'm going to write the date on it so we know, again, data if it's getting used or not. And then if after a little while it's not getting used, then I would feel confident decluttering it. Yeah, I do have the other one. This one.
Yeah, it's actually in USB.
Is that one a USB?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I just had another webcam too. Thanks for trouble. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. You are the greatest uncle ever. Knew exactly where it was. Oh man. We'll get it figured out. All right, so I'm gonna put the date on it, collect some data, and then I'll just know, right? It's easy to feel guilty, like, oh, I bought that and didn't get used and didn't get it returned. I'm such a loser, right? We're all managing so much, so much. All right, so decluttering. Let's talk a little bit about organization. Again, I think most of us at this point have taken the Clutterbug quiz. We know our Clutterbug style. And so if you have not, go to clutterbug.ca. I think it only takes a couple minutes, but knowing your organizing style then helps you when we get to the point, once we've decluttered a bunch, to know what type of organization to put in. And so as I've been adding containers here, I know I'm a ladybug. I like stuff out of sight, so I don't want to see the stuff, and big categories, right? So even my bin here of random cords and whatnot and webcams and all that kind of stuff. I don't need it divided out and toss it all in one bin, and that works really well for me. So that's been really helpful to know. And then also, like I said, I like stuff out of sight. And so I do like, these containers are at Target right now. I like that you can pick if you want a wood lid, or they have plastic ones that match the container. But I do like when the container has a lid. One, I think it looks less messy and you don't have to see the stuff, but also stuff doesn't accidentally get put into it or piled into it. Now, can stuff get piled on top? Yes, but then that's a clear sign that it just hasn't been categorized yet. And then as far as labels, so my only misstep though is that I have not labeled any of these things yet. And again, our brains really like labels. I used to rebel against putting labels on things because because when I initially was trying to like organize and label things, I still had too much inventory. And so my organization kept breaking down. I thought it was the containers and the labels that were at fault in me, when it was actually just too much inventory. And so if you are resistant to label things because in the past it's just like mocked you or it never worked or it's never stuck, I fully understand that. But again, our brains are pretty overwhelmed with everything they're trying to manage right now. And so our brains love labels. And so whether it is the chalkboard labels, which I really like, and they come in a lot of different sizes, or the different like clip-on ones. So these are like white clip-on ones. They have a black marker that comes with. I showed these in my mom's pantry. They make black ones like this. Whatever works best for your style or your container. I do like these big chalkboard ones for like Rubbermaid totes and that kind of thing. But figuring out however you go about it, I still haven't figured out the best way to label these, but I do need to label them because I end up going through each of them. Looking. One has checkbooks, one has greeting cards in it, and I end up going through them trying to remember which box what is in. So, anyways, they do need labels, but labeling is really important.
All right, there was a couple questions, but we need to know if white trash bags count or if it
Yeah.
has to be a 55-gallon bag.
I'm not so concerned about the size of the bag. If it's all you have, then yes, like we just want stuff moving out. If you have not tried using black trash bags before, like there really is actually something psychologically different, I believe, because I've used both and I know from others too. there's something about putting it into the black trash bag that feels like you are putting it into a black hole of never having to think about it or remember it or question it again. And so I don't know, have you found that, Leah, like for yourself or when you're working with others?
I love using the black trash bags. I have some people who sort like the white trash bags are donations and the black trash
Yes.
bags are trash. So Amelie's question too is what is the psychology behind why it's so hard to let go of things and that used previously but currently not, and hence
Yeah.
get rid of it?
Yeah, I'm great question. We're wired to hoard. Our brains have developed during times of lack, not abundance. Like we've only experienced abundance like real recently in history. And so our brains were designed when there was abundance to hoard to get you through the lean times. And so anything that has value, our brain perceives as an asset whether we're using it or not, right? Because it's you store up until you're going to need it. However, again, we weren't faced with all of these things like random parts from the Amazon furniture that you put together, right? And I mean, I know all of you probably know, like my grandpa kept all of that stuff, right? Like, oh man, when we had to sell their farm after they passed away, like, and many of you deal with that with parents or whatnot, right? And so, anyways, our brains are wired to hoard. But also, then on the flip side, our brains are not good at managing inventory. They're meant for survival and problem solving. And so that's where I think this tension really comes in is on one hand, our brain, like, that has value, you have to keep it. And then on the other hand, our brain is like, but I'm so tired and overwhelmed and tired of managing all this stuff and trying to remember where it is and what to do with it. Right. And so that's why we just have to keep talking about it, collecting data, putting dates and whatever on things so we can feel like we're making really clear, level-headed decisions.
There's such a freedom too in finally letting something go because until you do, it's like that decision hovering over you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you do it and then it's done and then you move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. It's like an open loop, right? Right? That hasn't been closed or solved. It's like when you're still kind of battling with it or going back and forth on it. Even this cord, I'm excited. All the stuff that we're going to throw away today, I'm excited just to like clear it out, move on, and have clarity about the stuff that I really do use regularly and am prioritizing and making space for, and the other things that have just, been freeloading and taking up space. Awesome. Thanks, Leah. I think probably the other thing too I want to emphasize is don't get hung up on hard stuff. So if anything feels hard, you're coming across it and you're like, I don't know what to do with that, just set it aside for now. There's usually plenty of stuff that is not hard that we can keep focusing on. And I know sometimes like, oh, well, that's deferring decisions or whatever. I don't know. I think it's just giving us more data to work with. And once we have everything removed, that's kind of the easy stuff, then we can look more and say, like, okay, this is everything I have left. It's still not fitting, into my designated spaces. So do I want to find a place for this? Do I really need it? It's just created a little more separation and time for us to think about it. So don't worry about skipping over hard stuff. Also, as I was just going through a couple piles here, I did find a few more books. And so, like I said, I do want them all just to fit on that shelf because I reference them once in a while, but like I'm not going to these books all the time looking for things. And so one shelf to me is plenty. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just look at them all collectively again and decide, which are the ones that are the most important to me or that I want to keep. And then I'm sure there's some that I can let go and make it fit easily. So that's kind of the nice thing, right, about just having a container and a limit that will let that be the bad guy. It's doesn't make me a bad person for getting rid of books, right? So Leah, were there any other questions that came in that we can answer?
Not a ton, but Amelie was asking about what overwhelm with schedule and kids and all of that, and how do you balance that, or how do you tackle that kind of overwhelm?
Yeah, I mean, I 1000% with you. These last 2 weeks have been just wild with getting back into everything. And so even yesterday, last night, I was talking to Diana and I'm like, I'm trying to put my finger on what the word is right now. It's not really overwhelmed because I'm getting all the important things done. Like the kids have been where they need to be. They're doing the things they need to do. We had dinner last night, like happening. I just don't feel as on top of things. I don't feel like I'm being able to be as proactive as I normally would like. And so I think it's often recognizing it's for a season. What are the most important things that have to get done each day? What things might have to fall right now? And then again, collecting data. Are there areas of our house that aren't working? Are where the kids bring their backpacks and their shoes and coats? Is that working? Do we need to simplify it? Cass yesterday too on our Take Your House Back Live was like, do you need to add hooks? Does it need to be easier to put stuff away? Do we need to simplify our meal planning and what we're doing for meals even more right now? Is it easy for the kids to pack their lunches? Where does homework go when it comes in? How are we managing that? So I think there's just like a lot of data collection going on right now. So then we can figure out, is this something I need to change or improve? Or is it just simply like I need to lower my expectations in this area right now for this season?
I think expectations is a huge because you feel like you have to always be at the top of your game. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I think that's
Yeah,
helpful.
good. I don't know, Leah. I think it's kind of therapeutic to just go around, even like this stuff I'm throwing away right now. It feels so good. Like, get it
Yeah.
out. I want to get this area like pulled together. And, this has felt stressful, even though I'm trying not to be hard on myself and whatever. It still feels stressful to walk down here every day and to have all of this stuff here, right? So let's promote mental health, peace of mind, relationships with our family, not feeling so behind like over this physical stuff that actually has no feelings and doesn't care if I just put it into a black trash bag or not. Like it doesn't know. It doesn't care. So all right, now, so we've been working down here for a while and it's feeling good, but I kind of have that thing where there's still like kind of some stuff spread out. And I just want to get to a point where it feels better. I've made progress and there's not stuff spread all around. So I like to look for categories of things that I can take care of or group together and move out or just get condensed together because that usually feels a lot better. So you heard me talking about organizing containers. I want to gather them all up. And then I also noticed there were some organizing containers over here too. I had got these, I think when I was doing the bathroom upstairs, trying to decide like just the right containers for the drawers. I should have returned them when I didn't use them. Again, bandwidth, priorities, it didn't make the cut for whatever reason that week. And it's fine. So I keep organizing containers in that closet. Like I said, I only keep like what fits in that space that I have there. These will fit and they are nice containers and I might come up with a use for them. If that space was full, I might swap them out for some other ones in there. We also have these like this stack of bins right here that I think these I'm actually going to let go of. They're kind of mismatched and they have not been used for a long time. I brought stuff over in them, haven't used them. I thought like, well, maybe I could just put them in the other part of my parents' basement. We don't need them, right? Stuff that will hold stuff will hold stuff. And I don't want to keep stuff that holds stuff that we're not using. So I could keep trying to rack my brain of how to keep them and use them in the future, or I could just let them go, right? And so it's weird. It's again, our brain will often war against us when it comes to getting rid of perfectly good things, especially organizing containers. But there is a lot of freedom in just being willing to let it go and having less inventory to manage. Okay, so like I said, we do floor first, so get the floor cleaned up. It's not perfect, but my goodness, it's feeling a lot better than how it did before. And categorize and contain. And so I'm always trying to group things into categories because our brain, that's how our brain works. Our brain is constantly scanning our environment and trying to put stuff into categories. That's what it does. It's how it relates to the world. It's how it deals with all of the overwhelming amount of information that we deal with on a daily basis. It says, I know what to do with that. It goes there. It goes there. I can group it with this. I've experienced this before. I'm putting it together with that. And so our brain loves clear categories and containers. Even again, I'm a messy person. I've never been like a organized, love organizing, love labels and, color coding and alphabetizing and all of that. But as I have learned more about how our brains work, especially when we are in a season of overwhelm, like 4 kids going back to school, new schools, new things, all this, right? Like, oh my goodness, right? That our brain just wants this stuff, the physical stuff in our environment to be easy and clear. So we categorize and contain. So we can show an example of that with the books. Like I said, I've been putting all the books here. So I do have all the books in this space. I have it here. Now I want to pare down to what fits. This is my container. This is my shelf, because this is realistic for how many books I'm going to use or reference like in this season of my life, right? And I don't keep stuff for someday thinking there's going to be some magical time down the road where I'm going to read all the books, like for reals, right? Like, so this is a very realistic container for me, and I want to pare down to what fits here. So I just start to look at, you know, the books that I have here, and I just look for like which ones are the least important to me, or the ones I reference the least or haven't read yet. And so there's a couple here. All right, there we go. Looks good. And these ones I'm going to donate and probably never ever think of again, and that's totally fine. I never hate it. Now let's talk about like the little random piles of stuff, because this is the worst. And I think if I can help you understand why this is so horrifying to our brain, again, hopefully it'll make you feel like there's actually nothing wrong with you. So like I was saying, our brain loves categories. And so then I'll just move this so we can see it more clearly. Then when we have a random pile of junk, our brain doesn't know how to categorize that. It doesn't know what to do. It's like, I don't know, like, what is it, right? And it becomes scary and overwhelming because we assume that we don't know what to do with any of this stuff. And so the best thing we can do is just start to sort out the pile and categorize it. And we can tell ourselves, I don't have to make any hard decisions. That's something we talk a lot about in our membership group too. We don't want to get hung up on something that's throwing us off. I literally skipped over some of that stuff on the floor earlier on because I'm like, I can't go through a whole box of mail right now. Thank you, sincerely thank you to everyone who mailed something. I am so grateful for you, and I am looking forward to getting to a point of going through that stuff. Like, it's like so humbling and wonderful. Like, I'm really sincerely grateful for it, but probably not this week, right? And so we skip over the hard stuff. So I tell myself when there's a random pile of mishmashy crap, whether it's on our counter or floor or wherever it ends up being, right? I just say, okay, all I have to do is categorize it. So I'm just going to start to sort this stuff out and put it into categories. And your brain will fight you the whole way. Like, I don't know what the categories are going to be. I don't know, right? And you're just like, doesn't matter. I don't have to make any hard decisions. I'm just going to categorize it. And so I'm going to look at this. So we have monkey hooks. Love these. If you're hanging anything on the wall, these are super cool. I have Velcro like cord ties and stuff. So that actually, I put this kind of stuff together. All of this just kind of householdy, you know, organize, hang stuff, that kind of stuff. So cool. I can put that together. This came, I think I have one of those like postage printer things. So it's a little random tech thing that is going to go into my random tech basket, right? In it goes. I don't even have to know what this is. Now, when this basket starts to overflow, that's when I go through it and I'm like, get rid of the stuff you just absolutely don't even know what it is, right? All right, okay, yeah. And then this was some of the like stuff that came with the little label printer. I've never had to use it or reference it. And so for manuals, that kind of stuff, we just Google it. We just look it up online. I'm not going to keep that. That is going in my black trash bag. All right. This cord, I bought it for something. I think it was for a hard drive, and it didn't end up actually being the right one. I think because it has a USB end and my laptop didn't actually even have a USB end. So part of me doesn't even want to keep it. I kind of just want to throw it away because I should have returned it. I didn't. Again, whatever. But do I want to put it into my tech bin, or should I just let it go now because I'm likely never, ever, ever going to have a use for it? I'm just going to let it go. I don't have time for that kind of stuff anymore. What's this one? Why do we have another one? Okay, this is just USB-C to USB-C. This could actually, a Thunderbolt cable. Okay, this I could actually use. So this I will put into my random tech bin. Now, smoke detector. We actually have a smoke detector on the wall right there. So this is an extra one. And I'm trying to think, like, do we have a spot where smoke detectors live? Usually on the wall. We don't really have like extra ones. So I probably should just see if there's like a space in the house that needs this. So it can be its own category for right now. I'm not going to get hung up on it. These are labels, and so I'm going to put them with this kind of stuff. And I'm starting to see this category, recognize it, that I have a need for it. And so I'm already starting to think of like, I know exactly what container I want to use for it. This is the page turner for a Kindle that I got and have never connected, but I actually think would be really nice. So I want to set this out because I do want to connect that and start using it. These were some extra like magnetic name tags from an event we did. Like not enough to do a full another event. And so, and if I'm thinking like, where would I keep these? Where would I look for them if I need them? Would it even, you know, Dana from A Slob Comes Clean, would it even occur to me that I had these? No, it wouldn't. I'm just going to let them go. It feels a little wasteful. I forgot they were here. If we forgot they were here, again, we're never going to remember that we have them. And then this is like a little eraser for like a marker board. Never used it. Don't think we need it. Again, just throw it away. Why? I could try to keep it, but why? All right, look, okay, we're making progress. These, you know, a lot of times when you get like a little tripod or something, it comes with the little Bluetooth like clickers to turn your phone on and off. I just don't, I could put it in my tech bin, but I forgot. I didn't know we had these. I don't ever use them, so I'm just going to throw those away as well. And what's in the, oh, this is a Bluetooth meat thermometer. That's supposed to actually be really awesome. Probably showed in my gift guide again. So, and then actually maybe this year give it to my dad for Christmas. All right, I'm already one Christmas gift up, but I didn't even know it was here because it was stacked up in a pile of stuff, right? We can't remember it there. So I'm going to keep this out. I actually have like kind of a category of some stuff that for Christmas stuff. So here's what we have now. I have this stuff that I want to create a bin for, and then this that I'm still like, I don't know. What am I going to do with it, right? Probably ask my mom about it. But it's fine. Even though I didn't fully solve everything, this is still a lot better. So I do have another one of these containers that I want to put labels and stuff in, because I also have these labels too that didn't have a home. So I want those to go in there, and then all of this kind of stuff. And then I need to get a label and put it on it. But that feels really good knowing that that stuff has a home now. And then I'm going to put this on the steps to take it up with me when I go back upstairs. All right, I can show you something else that's kind of thrown me off too, because it cost a lot of money, right? And that is this camera lens. I tipped over my camera upstairs on the hard tile floor and it broke, which is a bummer. And so I got a new one, and well, first I ordered the wrong one and then I got a new one. I've been hanging on to the old one. Why? Am I suddenly going to become like a camera lens repair person? I don't know. Again, because it was expensive and I wanted to make sure the new one works, and it does, and it's been great. And I've still had this. So this, and then I'm like, could there be parts on it that are still good? Like, do you just throw it away? Whatever. Well, guess what I'm doing today? I'm throwing it away. Again, I don't have the luxury of extra time and bandwidth to research this or find a place to donate it, or, you know, is there like a organization for camera lenses for kids that don't have camera lenses, you know, that are broken? I don't know, right? But again, I don't have the time for that right now. So I'm going to throw it away. I'm never going to think about it again. This space is going to feel better. And that's actually what I'm after. I want to be able to walk down here and have it feel in order, feel like things are under control. And that's probably, you know, another thing worth mentioning is that when our world is just a little wild, like mine is right now, it's just the season we're in. If we can bring our physical environment into order, it just feels so good. It gives us a sense that things are under control as they can be right now, right? So there is something about bringing our physical environment into order, and this is the kind of stuff that stands in the way of us being able to do that. I also have this one now that is extra. I probably should put this on Marketplace, but again, like that's a hassle too, but I don't think I could just like donate it to Goodwill, right? Like this is the type of stuff, right? I don't know. Or if I try it, and I got outside of the Amazon return window, right? Do I try and contact Amazon and see if I could still return it? Even if I only get part of my money back? That might be worth it. All right, I'm going to put it with the homeschool stuff, and if it doesn't get done in the next week or so, then I'm just going to donate it and let someone else figure out what to do with it. This is funny. I'm like, Okay, I'm like working my way up, right? We say floor first and then flat surfaces. And as we go, we're categorizing stuff, finding containers for it. And then I'm just like, oh no, what's in this basket? And it's just some organizing containers. So that's a win. I'm going to put these ones with the other organizing containers. And then this is the infamous mailing and shipping label printer I was just talking about. And I think it needs a container. It's a little wonky. And also these are the labels that go with it. So look, I have a container. Now my preference actually is always to have something that would like have a lid like these ones, but it's here. I have it. I think it'll be fine. I do need to label it though. Again, such a kindness to our brains right now. And then I always know what goes in here. I know where it goes and all of that. So that is contained and that feels a whole lot better. So we've actually got this shelf looking pretty good here. These containers I had put here like a year ago, and so one has checkbooks, one has greeting cards, one is just empty still. Like I haven't found a use for it, but it's there if I need it for something. And then this one's still empty too, so probably wouldn't even needed to get 2 sets of these, but you know how you're like, well, I don't know, they might go out of stock or not match. Or and I'm also aware too, if I just leave open spots on flat surfaces, well, flat surfaces like to collect junk, right? So at least by having these here, nothing is collecting there. All right, we can move over to this flat surface here now too. So these are, whenever we talk about like paper clutter and command centers, these are my action and time will tell bins. This is currently what I use to manage the paper in our house, but I like to show other examples. And so I have a few different systems that I'll show, like whenever we're talking about it inside of our membership group. I've done a couple YouTube videos on it too, but there tends to be like a lot of nuances and stuff. So this type of stuff, I really appreciate doing inside of our membership group because we can have conversations about it. We can problem solve and all that together. So anyways, this is just one that I keep for an example, but I haven't really had a great place for it. And so I want to actually in these cabinets here, probably find a spot, but these I use all the time and these usually live on my desk. And so I'm just going to move these back over there. And actually outside of it needing to be dusted, we're doing pretty good here with that flat surface. And this might be a good example to show you too. So I have these 2 cabinets here. That one just has like books, some extra books that I've done and published and planners and stuff. And then this one is where I kind of keep like my sample paper clutter things. So let's say you come across something, you're like, okay, I want to keep it. I've identified the spot where I think it would be a good place for it to live. And then I go there and, oh crud, there's clutter there. And that's why I haven't dealt with it, right? And so again, we're just going to look at the data. There's nothing wrong with us if our cabinets and bookshelves in different spaces has filled up. That's what they do. They collect junk. It's just how it goes, right? And we haven't had a lot of extra bandwidth to deal with it. Totally fine and normal. But we go to it then and we say, okay, what could leave this space? What am I not using anymore? Likely there's some stuff in here we're not using, right? And so I can look through here, or could at a minimum be rehomed. So I have my container where I put my receipts. This is some other paper clutter stuff that I show. And I mean, I think in here I have it pretty easy because I think I can just put this here. All right, so I kind of lucked out on that one. But like this is actually a container of photos that I sometimes like to use as a sample too when we talk about photos or whatnot. And I could say, well, that could go up to the closet upstairs where I actually keep photos, right? Or hopefully you could just find some stuff where you're like, that can go in my black trash bag. I had totally forgotten it's here. I'm never going to think about it again. Like, throw it away, move on with life. We don't have the capacity to manage all of this stuff, right? Guerrilla decluttering, scrappy, quick. Like, we just have to get stuff out of our house right now. And something else that I want to emphasize is that we can't measure capacity by hours in the day. And so as women especially, I think we judge ourselves saying like, well, I had an hour where I could have done this. I had 3 hours today where I could have done this, but instead I scrolled or I zoned out on Netflix or crawled back in bed. I mean, if I have learned anything over the last year and a half, would be the afternoons where I'm like, I literally need to walk down here and set up my computer and do work, right? And instead I go upstairs to my bed and crawl in bed and take a nap because I was just physically, mentally exhausted and drained. And I would sit at my computer and I'm like, I can't even like make sense of the words on the screen in front of me. And I'm supposed to be productive. And so productivity and what we should get done in a day is unfortunately not based on the number of free hours that we have. It is the mental capacity, or we sometimes call it bandwidth, that we have. And if we have big things going on in our life, relational things, physical health things, energy things, that kind of stuff that we deal with, it drains our energy. And so no judgment here, so much grace to you, but there is a lot of freedom if we'll use these like guerrilla tactics to be scrappy and make quick decisions, that if we can get our house pared down into a point where it's not shaming us and it's not feeling it and we're not feeling guilty about it, there is so much freedom in that. I remember one time thinking like, what if I just want to sit in my chair in my room and read a book and drink iced coffee every day and not always have to be so productive? Like, what if I simplified my house down to that point where that's literally what I could do, because everything else is so streamlined and I don't have all this other junk that I am trying to manage, right? Like, that's very possible. So especially if you are in a season where you don't have a lot of energy or bandwidth, can we pare our house down? Can we match the inventory in our house to the realistic season that we're in, for the worst days, not the best days that we imagine someday we're going to have? There's so much freedom in that. And so if you would be willing to do that, I think you'll experience that too. And we feel better. We regain our confidence in ourselves. And I never imagined how much the physical clutter and junk in my house was weighing me down mentally, and how judged I felt by it and guilty and all of that, until I got it out. And I was like, oh, dang, right? So anyways, it's sending you messages. They're not good, right? But we can move them out, toss them in a black trash bag, get them out, move on. And it really does feel so good. So the other thing though I want to give you permission to get rid of is if you unexpectedly get assaulted by like memory items. So I was clearing out this bin. So I had showed it before as kind of like a version of like a Sunday basket or something like that, a way to store papers, which for some works, others don't. It's never worked for me, and I kind of like the other systems that we've come up with. So I decided like, I don't really need this anymore. Well, I didn't realize that there would be like some memory stuff-ish in here. Like even as I was going through it, like I didn't realize I still had our foster care license, which if you've been with us a while, that was a journey, I don't know, a long time ago. Anyways, but I was not expecting it. Or I had gotten this mug from a friend who is no longer a friend that says, I wish you lived next door. And I'm like, do you? I don't think so. You just totally stopped talking to me, right? Like, and so I had the thought, I was like, well, I could just donate it, right? Maybe someone else will like it. I'm like, no, I actually think I really need to like throw it away. And I had shared a little while back, I don't know if I can track it down, but a clip by Jay Shetty where he was talking how it is actually kind of like therapeutic to burn things or throw them away if we have like memories hanging over from not great times in our life or people or relationships or whatnot. And that sometimes it is kind of therapeutic to burn this stuff or to throw it away. So I'm going to throw this away. To me, that would feel better than donating it again, right? We have to do what's best for us and like what we need right now. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I know how it goes, where sometimes you're like, I'm just decluttering. I'm just minding my own business, right? And then this stuff is just like thrown in your face, and it can kind of, I don't know, like sour your mood. I felt like I was on a roll. I'm really grateful for how this is feeling and everything. And then it was just like, bam, right? And I'm like, ugh, I didn't need to be reminded of that right now. So it happens to all of us, but you definitely have permission to toss it, throw it, burn it, break it, whatever you got to do to feel better. And then again, also permission to skip over hard stuff or things that you just don't know what to do with. So as I was working in this area, I came across, this is actually my cap and gown. I'm going to do the ceremony for my master's degree, graduation degree. Thank you for those of you who are like, it's not just a certificate or whatever after last week's video. I very much appreciate you. I really appreciated all of the kind comments on that video. Like, wow, thank you. I'm humbled and blown away and just all the things. So thank you. But okay, so I have this. It's like a temporary storage kind of thing. Where does this live, right? And so, you know, for right now, it's gonna live right there. Like, I don't have a lot of extra brain capacity right now to solve that problem, especially when it's just a temporary thing, right? So I'm just like, it's fine. It is what it is. I also have my time will tell bin for the bathroom. It's a little overflowy right now because I was categorizing and getting everything into one spot, which feels good, but also it caused that I need to go through it and just like pare it down a little bit. I'm not going to do that right now, and that's totally fine. And we'll get back to bathrooms and we'll do it, and it'll be good. But at least I know right now it's all together. It's all categorized. I know what it all is. So it doesn't feel scary or intimidating or overwhelming because it's not a mishmash. It's not random mishmashy like we're dealing with. It's just a category of stuff that needs to be pared down a little bit, and it's fine. So we'll get there. But otherwise, this is actually coming together, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, what if you are the queen of the Post-it note and the lists and the multiple notebooks and all of that, right? This is a question that comes up often. And here's what I need you to know. This is not a productivity or time management system. This is the worst way for our brains to manage tasks and to-do lists. And I'm just going to say it right there. I said it, right? I know there's a good chance you're a list maker, right? You like paper, you're not anyways. But what happens? They get piled up everywhere, right? And they're like, oh no, I don't know. Am I going to need it? Is there something super important on there? And if you have the time, you can go through them individually and you can make a master task list or whatever you got to do with the information. What do you do though, again, if you don't have the luxury of time? And that is where our time will tell bin comes in so handy. So I have simplified my paper system down to 2 bins, action and time will tell. Like, it's so simple right now. But what we can do with all of these random lists that you have, no matter what form they're in, is toss them into your time will tell bin. If you do not have one of these, many women have said this has revolutionized paper clutter in their homes. They no longer have random piles on their kitchen counters, tables, desks. So this is a game changer. And we can just toss all these lists in there. And then over time, again, we can collect the data. We never go back to them. They sink to the bottom. Then we'll feel confident letting them go. So we time test them. We let them time out. There was nothing super important on there that I had to go back for. So that can be a great way to deal with a backlog of these lists. And moving forward, I would recommend that you only have one spot that you jot things, whether it is Post-it notes or a notebook or wherever you write it. Only have one, right? Consolidate it to one place. Again, our brain loves that so much. So try not to have a bunch of different places so that you're writing them all down, and that is going to feel so much better. All right, well, not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. Now, do I still have some other things to work on? Yeah, those things aren't really that scary to me. I know we can tackle those pretty quickly. Getting this stuff dealt with, oh my goodness, it feels so good. So here's what I want to encourage you with. This isn't about being reckless or wasteful. It's about being honest with what your clutter is costing you right now and choosing your mental health and relationships over inanimate objects. You are worth that. You are so worth that. And I really want that for you. A house that is working for you and with you. And of course, if you ever want to spend more time together and we can remind each other of that, literally, this is what we talk about in our group. You're never behind. No failure, just data, right? We remind each other of this every single day. And then I would love for you to join us inside of our membership group. We have a lot of really great stuff planned for the fall. And right now it's on special for just $22 a month, normally $45. And so whatever we can do to help you and support you, that's what I would like to do, because man, I really appreciated all your love and support over the years as well. So thank you. All right, well, maybe I'll see you in there, but I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.